Hi everyone, welcome to STEAM Time. My name's Dayna. I'm the Buena Vista Branch Manager with Monterey County Free Libraries, and today we're going to be learning all about chromatography. A lot of you might be thinking, what does chromatography mean? Well, stay tuned and let's find out. Chromatography. It's a big word, but what is it? Chromatography is a process for separating different components from a mixture. In our case today, with the two experiments that we're going to be doing, we're actually going to be separating color pigments in markers. So ask yourself, when you look at a black marker, what colors do you think make up the black marker? Is it just black dye? Well, with chromatography, we're going to take a deeper look at the actual colors that make up a black marker, and you might be surprised to see how many there are. Next, we're going to take a look at what we are going to need to do today's experiment. Now that we have talked about what chromatography is and what experiments we're going to be doing today, let's take a look at what supplies you're going to need for your experiment. So to start off, you're going to want a plastic jar or glass jar. You don't need something very tall. We're not using very much water. You're going to want Sharpie markers and washable markers. The washable markers are the more important ones, but if you have both, you can test both. You're going to need a piece of paper towel. Coffee filters, I used the white ones. It shows the pigments better. And then when we do our butterfly craft later, you're going to want pipe cleaners. Any color you can find will work. And then I also have a white plate. I have a dark table, so it's harder to see. But if you have newspaper handy, anything that you can use to dry out your coffee filter once you've had it in the water and all the color has started to bloom, you're going to want to have a surface for that to dry. Aside from that, this is what we are going to be using today to complete today's chromatography experiment and butterfly art craft. Now that we've gone over the different supplies that we're going to need for today, let's talk a little bit more about chromatography and specifically the markers that we're going to be used today and the dyes that make up our markers. So each of the dyes is made up of a different chemical, and some of those chemicals are heavier and some are lighter. And you'll notice when you put your strip in the water with your colored circle, you're going to see that some colors kind of creep up the paper towel faster than others. And that's because some dyes are heavier and some are lighter. So they're going to move at different speeds from the water up through the paper towel. So you're going to notice that lighter dyes, such as your yellows, are going to move faster than your heavier dyes, which will be your purples, your blacks, and probably even the brown dye as well. So we're going to jump into our first experiment. It's an easy one. All you're going to need again is our paper towel. You're going to want to grab scissors if you have them. And then on our paper towel, you're going to draw a circle. So go ahead and pick what color marker you would like to use for this. So for me, let's see what color I want to do today. I'm actually just going to tear mine. You just need a small strip. And then for mine, I'm going to draw. Let me draw it for you and then I'll show you what I did. Just to test, we're going to draw a circle just like this. Whatever color marker you want to use to test. You can test the whole rainbow of colors. Leave a little bit of space at the bottom because we are going to be placing it inside of our cup that we have just a tiny bit of water in, about 1/2 inch. So you're going to take your paper towel with your circle. It could be a big circle, little circle. And what you're going to want to do, and it probably works better to have paper towel in strips thinner than this, but you're going to want to touch it to the water. And don't saturate the circle, you just want to touch the edge of the paper towel in the water. And instantly, you're gonna start to notice the colors separate and creep up the paper towel. And when you have your paper towel inside the cup, take a look at what colors are starting to bloom. I used a black marker, so you're gonna notice, I'm gonna pull it out in just a second. You're gonna notice that the colors that are coming out are not just black. I'm seeing blues and pinks, all kinds of different colors. So you can leave it in longer than this, but I just want to show you where we're at so far. So take a look. This was a black marker, but if you'll notice, you can see some blues. I see pink. There's a little bit of purple. A little bit of green is starting to come out. And as I'm holding it, I am seeing it continue to creep up as the water seeps higher up the paper towel. So that's it. That's chromatography. It's as simple as taking a piece of paper towel, some washable markers, and testing to see if we can separate out the chemicals and see what kind of colors make up the various markers that we have lying around our house. Another test you can do, try doing this with Sharpies if you have it. Do you notice anything different? Do you get a different reaction when you dip it into the water? Does a black Sharpie circle bloom as well as a Crayola washable marker? If not, why? So take this experiment further with the different types of markers and see what you get. Another way to do this experiment is with a coffee filter, a simple plain household coffee filter. We're going to move into that next because not only are we going to do another little science experiment, we get to do a fun craft with it as well. Now that we have learned about chromatography, let's move into our butterfly art craft project. So for this, we're going to need a coffee filter, a short glass. We're only going to use about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of water, a washable marker of your choice. I used a black Crayola marker again for this one. And then you're gonna want to put your coffee filter on top of something. So I'm using a white plate because I have a really dark table and I want to protect it, but you can use newspaper, magazines, paper towel, anything you have, just so the marker doesn't seep onto your table. So what you're going to want to do to get started is you're going to take one coffee filter and you're actually just going to flatten it out. And you're going to want to draw a circle with whatever color marker you chose in the center. So where the ridged part of the coffee filter meets the flat part, you're just going to draw a big circle. And the thicker you make the circle, the more the colors are going to separate out once they touch the water. So once you have your circle, very easy from here. You're going to fold your coffee filter in half once. The goal is to make a cone. You're gonna fold it twice so that it looks like this. So once you have something like this, go ahead, we're just gonna dip it in the water. So you just want the tip of it in the water. You don't want it to actually touch the black ring that you created. All you need is just it to touch the tip in the water and it's going to start to bloom. So instantly you can see as soon as the water hit the coffee filter, the colors are already starting to separate out. So this part of the craft does take a little bit of time. So the longer you leave it in the water, the better. Once the color has fully reached the top and it starts to separate all the way out to the top, that's when you can go ahead and take it out of the water and let it dry. So you want to make sure that your coffee filter is completely dry before we move on to the next step. So go ahead when it's fully saturated and the color has moved up, place it on a paper towel or some surface that you can let it dry. And this is where the fun part starts. So you're gonna get something like this. It's going to create a tie-dye effect. and super easy to make your butterfly. You're just going to take your dried coffee filter, cinch it in the middle, and you're going to cut a pipe cleaner in half. And all you're going to do is wrap it around the middle to create a bit of a body and some antenna. And there you have it. You have a butterfly craft using the science that we learned about today, chromatography. Thank you guys so much for joining me for STEAM Time. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a wonderful day and have fun experimenting with chromatography. Bye, everyone.